So, from catfishing to Bourbon Distillery all in 24 hours. We've arrived at Woodford Reserve and we're going to take a tour of the distillery. So this is the view from the lunch table. That's the tasting bar over there. We're going to go try a couple bourbons in a few minutes here.
Rock we call limestone in this area. The spring water that filters through the limestone picks up a tremendous amount of calcium. Now those of you that know a little bit about calcium in the water know of course that we have since discovered, and as our friend Catherine will tell you, strong light bones, strong tendons. The horses that drink our water and eat the grass develop strong bones, strong tendons in this area. Now, we've been making bourbon in the old tradition here in copper pot stills. We are a super premium, small batch, triple distilled product. And as I told Catherine earlier, our product itself, this past March, was named the most popular bourbon or the best bourbon in the world. He's actually filling the barrels, and he's sealing them with yellow poplar bones. In the wintertime, it's cold and the molecules are kind of lazy. But in the summertime, when it's warm, or when we put heat on in here and turn up the heat, the molecules start to move a little faster. It's imperceptible to your vision, but you have the expansion and contraction of the alcohol inside the barrel. Now something majestic is going to happen to that particular alcohol. Remember, we're going to have a charred barrel, and we've got the contraction, expansion in the barrel. Bourbon, okay? And that's important to Kentucky. Now, we use white oak. It has to be new, it has to be charred. It has to be put in the barrel and stay in the barrel at least 2 years in order for it to be called straight whiskey. Straight whiskey. Bourbon is a whiskey, not all whiskeys are bourbon. Now, if you can take it out at any time out of the barrel. If you take it out before 4 years, well, you have to warn people. You have to put the number of years on the bottle. You must say this is 3-year-old bourbon, 2-year-old bourbon, 4-year-old. We actually age ours anywhere from 6.5 to 8 years. We actually put the date on the barrel. Tillage in here, the sour mash, 12%, and then 180 milled bushels of corn. We'll boil. We'll drop it down to 170, introduce the rye, 140, the barley, and cook for 6 hours. 6 hours. Then pump it into here, and let it sit 7 days. 7 days, it goes downstairs. Sorrowing. The product initially comes off of it into here boiling. We will run cold water through these rings and cool it off, because when we introduce the yeast fermentation process, these bubbles that you see are carbon dioxide. In its high point, if you were to put your nose over it, you would think you were smelling not horseradish, but the same sensation. It would actually burn your nostrils. But 20% alcohol, but that's not pure enough for you to drink. As a matter of fact, that make you very sick to drink that. It has elements of alcohol in it that you should not drink. For example, methanol. You shouldn't drink it. The stuff that makes it antifreeze. You shouldn't drink it. The law says bourbon has to be 80 proof at a minimum. So you get your basal haze and you're just 160 proof. Over 80% alcohol is called a neutral spirit. It's what we also call vodka. Okay? So, all the grain flavors, the complexities, over 80, all stripped out. We take it out at about 78% alcohol, 156 proof. And we use the various tools that James Crow introduced. It hasn't changed in all those years. And we pump it into that particular tank right there. We'll put the 78% alcohol in there, and we'll age it down to 55% alcohol, or 110 proof. 8 gallons, at least 3 gallons get sucked right into the wood. And that's that dampness that some of you felt. Where did you touch? Someone touched it. But the dampness that you touched was the wood being soaked. And it actually starts to season the oak right away. Now, when we want to take them out, we roll them out. It's called clocking the barrel. Most of the barrels should be pointed straight up. The stills are pointing straight up. That's because the hole through which we fill the barrels is at the top. If they're cleaned again, tested again. In the world. Germany is one of the top 10. 1920, Prohibition went into effect, the 18th Amendment. By 1925, well, let me just digress. In the law itself was written the following. If you should get sick, you could go to your doctor, and the doctor would write you a prescription for medicinal bourbon. So all the bourbon that was locked up started to be dispensed because you were entitled to at least 3 pints of medicinal bourbon a month to get over whatever was ailing you. So by 1925, over 6 million gallons of medicinal bourbon were dispensed. By 1923, I'll work backwards, over 200,000 prescriptions were written in the Chicago area alone. There were a lot of sick people. By the mid-century, not mid-century, mid-decade, all the bourbon was gone that was locked up and secured. The government, in its wisdom, had a provision that should it be gone, it would issue licenses. Brown-Forman received one of the 10 licenses during the time when no whiskey was to be made. And they could make medicinal bourbon. And so during Prohibition, bourbon was still being produced for sick people. You don't believe that, but it was. And then by 1933, Franklin Roosevelt signed the law into effect where it outlawed Prohibition and repealed it. So, Joe,
okay, Joe.
Talking to...
I'm Catherine Haddad.
We're talking to Catherine.
Yeah.
A renowned equestrian. This is Woodford Reserve. It's the best bourbon in the world. It's actually called our Seasoned Oak. It's part of our master collection. It's 100 proof.
100 proof? Are you serious?
Proof. Yes. This will light your fire.
Can I try this here?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Look at this beautiful copper color. Now, I'm a wine drinker myself, so I might make some faux pas here, but
yes,
there's a bit of toffee in the nose.
What did you say?
It's really smooth. That I have to say, it's a really, really smooth bourbon. Very nice taste of apricot. Help me out here, guys.
Vanilla.
Vanilla?
Toffee.
Vanilla toffee I got in the nose.
Coconut. Butterscotch. Fruits. Nutmeg.
I don't get the coconut, so I better try another sip.
Almonds, peach, pear, chocolate. Get a tobacco. Of course.
Okay, the tobacco I get. Tobacco's nice. I think you should try it. Excellent stuff.